no mames. Ya me hartó este hijo de la chingada. No mames.
Adiós, Albedo. ¿Para qué sirve? Bueno, no hay ningún bot. ¿What? ¡Ay, Kazuha! ¡No! Saludos chicos, chicas, sean bienvenidos a un nuevo stream del Genshin Impact. ¿Qué tal amiguitos? Con la traída del... Oh por Dios. Hey human. Con la traída de la versión 2.8 ha llegado la hora de hacer historia. Pero la historia de la misión de Kazuha, que por ahí me dijeron que es bastante corta. Es cortita, así como que dura 1 hora. Así que, bueno, estoy motivado a hacerla. Más que todo porque es cortita, ¿saben? Entonces, lo del evento de la skin de Fischl, yo la voy a dejar como para cuando ya esté desbloqueado todo. Allá por el 22 de julio. Voy a dejar que todo ahí se acumule para hacerlo todo en un tirón. Así disfrutar totalmente el evento, así me dure 5 o 6 horas, me hago un speedrun o un maratón, no sé qué sé yo, de 6 horas de Genshin. Ya 6 horas de Genshin, lo último que hice 6 horas de Genshin fue cuando estuvo el festival de Inazuma, y así mismo lo hice todo seguido, así que ya verán ustedes. Buenas, dice el Human Shark. ¿Qué tal, Human? Buenas. Llegó el Cazuelas. Pues sí, algo por el estilo. A ver, un camino sin amigos. Hablas de mi vida social. ¿Qué te pasa? Saludos, Sergio. Ahorita no activo el bot. Y de hecho debería desactivar lo de los avatares. Porque como es historia de Genshin, cuando es historia y se trata de eventos que lo pongo en YouTube, generalmente voy modo serio, ¿saben? Disculpen por la interacción, que se supone que ya está eso, pero vamos modo serio. De hecho, vamos ya de una buena vez a quitar esto. Que justo, ¿no? Termina la música. Entonces, en cuanto venga el Commander Steve, revelo, creo, sí, el Commander Steve, la primera vez que escribe en el chat, él desbloquea todas las alertas que he puesto el día de hoy. De hecho, saben, iba a streamear a las 2 de la tarde y termino streameando a las 5. ¿Por qué? Hice unas ligeras modificaciones a lo que son la entrega de bits, la entrega de otra, ¿cómo se llama? La entrega o sea, la notificación, mejor dicho, del resub. Bueno.
Toma un bit. Lo mando porque quiero el emblema de espada de madera Blackcarico.
Pues ahí está, la nueva notificación del bit. Ya es una Youmu ahora. Oye, ¿y mis perfiles? Ahí están. Eso. Está lindo. Voy a ponerle aquí y le voy a poner hecho para que se guarde. La de los 2 meses. La de 3 meses creo que también hay. No, de 3 meses no hay. De 4 meses, la de 4 meses es que me encanta. La de 5 meses, 6 meses, 1 año. Sí, sí, sí. Así más o menos va. Y como Commander Steve ya tiene... ¿Cómo que descarga? Y como Commander Steve ya tiene 1 año, bueno, 14 meses, va a cumplir en este mes. Básicamente le tengo que mostrar todo. Él solamente ha visto la del sí señor. En 4 meses lo estreno, más o menos. Y básicamente lo puse 4 meses porque... Por algo. Por la alerta más que todo. Porque la alerta es bien pendeja y quiero que esté la plena, quiero que esté el Commander Stick. Ay, eso se dice en privado, Vlad. ¿Cómo que en privado? Ay, pinche dick pic en el DM de Discord, pobrecito se va a asustar. ¿Qué? ¿Y qué dije, güey? ¿Por qué se está tardando demasiado? Ahora ya me tienen con miedo, güey. ¿Qué dije? Hay gente que lo pone 1 mes, 3 meses, 6 meses y 12 meses. Y ese era mi plan. 1 mes, 3 meses, 6 meses y 12 meses. Tal cual. Pero algo se interpuso. Algo... Una pendejada se me interpuso en el camino y yo dije, esto tiene que ir 4 meses. Llamen al Commander Steve. Por cierto, hablando del comando, no se ha conectado en todo el día. Oh. F. ¿Ya, pinche juego? Me analizó todo el pinche juego, pero... Vamos a ver esas notas del par. ¡Ah! Espera, es el evento. Claro, el evento de Fischl. Interesante. Dice, nosotros dos hemos estado viendo Bank Dream. Ya vamos por la 3ª temporada X de Vaya. Ah, mira, ahí está la activación del evento. Una travesía estival ya disponible. Me habla Paimon, ¿verdad? ¿No me habla Paimon? Paimon. Habla con... Dirígete al gremio de... No, gracias. Hoy la misión de Kazuha aquí está. Dame. Perfecto. Ahora. Pregunta. Tengo tiempo para hacer eso, así que... Ni modo. Una travesía estival... sí. Oh. Oh. Qué bonito. Ok. En legendaria y que la chingada. Ahorita voy a ver. Encuentros parte 7. En fin. Manzana dorada volvió sin moda. Ojalá esa verificación de archivos por fin se pueda hacer más rápido con una SSD, pero a tu hoyo le da huevo hacerlo al parecer. Pues yo tengo el SSD en el Genshin. El Genshin en el SSD. Y no parece que sea amigable con los SSDs. A ver. ¿Qué? ¡Vámonos! Verga, tiene mucho que no abro el Genshin. Ja, dije que iba a farmear y no he hecho una pija. Comprendo.
since we first set foot on Inazuma. So many things have happened since then.
Hay tantos recuerdos entrañables.
Yeah, we've definitely made some progress on our journey. So, where should we go today?
Espera.
Huh? What's up?
¿Qué? Ten cuidado. ¿Alguien viene? ¿Batalla?
Hey!
¿Ya?
What the heck was that for? Doesn't want to talk, huh?
¡Oh, su...
Let's convince him to calm down a little.
Lights out.
Oh, so you don't have a vision after all.
Yes.
Seems like I've mistaken you for someone else.
At the very least, you should make sure you've got the right person before you go attacking them.
Wow.
Wait, even when you've got the right person, you shouldn't go attacking them out of the blue. It's dangerous.
Ey. La actriz de voz de Paimon le cambió tantito la voz, ¿eh? Le cambió tantito la voz. Y me gusta así como está ahorita.
Have you ever met someone by the name of Kaedahara Kazuha? He carries a sword just like you. I've also heard that he possesses an animo vision.
¿Qué quieres de él?
That's none of your business. Never mind. You don't look like you know anything anyway. I'm wasting my time.
What the heck is this guy's problem? Coming around here, waving that weird sword in our faces, and he didn't even apologize. Seems like a real nutcase. Well, one thing's for sure. No way are we telling him anything about Kazuha.
Por ti. Por fin dices algo inteligente.
Hey! Don't be mean! I'm unsmart lots of the time! Anyway, to be on the safe side, we should go find Kazuha right away and tell him to watch his back.
Lo cierto es que tengo una corazonada.
Oh? What kind of hunch?
Creo que ese tipo tiene una conexión especial con Kazuha.
Special connection? You mean, beyond already knowing each other?
No puedo decirlo a ciencia cierta. Su manera de luchar es parecida. No es cierto.
Yeah, maybe a little. But then again, most people look pretty much the same once they start fighting.
Y parece que la segunda era la correcta.
Anyway, there's no time to lose. Let's go tell Kazuha so we won't get into any danger. Paimon heard that the Crux fleet is stocking up in Rito at the moment. Let's look for him there.
Wow. Dirígete a Rito. Chica de madre. Ajá. Aquí. Dice... Pasa con todos, hasta con un M2, pero al parecer... quién sabe por qué no he optimizado eso para los SSD malditos chinos. Pues... no sé si es que... Al momento de que parchan el juego, es decir, le meten unos cuantos megabytes, se parcha todo el juego, porque ahí tendría sentido. Es decir, los 40 gigas del juego los analiza en el SSD y tarda un vergo. Eso tendría sentido. Pero venga, que tarde bastante así siendo un SSD es lamentable. Yo tengo un NVMe, así que es un almacenamiento rápido, súper rápido. De lectura y escritura. Ya salió el que se agarra a madrazos con los libros. ¿Qué? Uf, es ajustado con solo una uña de vida. Ya sabes, el ajustado posting. Solo quítale los escudos. Y ya. Como que quítale los escudos. ¿Qué te pasa? Ese evento no es viejo, o sea, no es rerun. Como tal, las islas sí. Pero es un evento completamente distinto. En el anterior era el lore de Alice con Klee. Básicamente A Klee la habían engañado para que vaya a pasar tiempo de verano en las Islas Encantadas, patrocinadas por la madre, Alice. Engañó a todo el mundo para que estén unidos, por así decirlo. Fue una misión enternecedora, entre bella y bonita, ¿saben? Entonces, no digo que haya estado mal, ha estado irregular. Y esta ocasión pues han vuelto a traer las mismas islas, pero con un evento completamente distinto. Luego vemos que nos trae la historia del evento, porque el evento supongo tendrá historia. Por algo las traen de nuevo. La mamá de 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 Klee. ¿Qué? Y no sé por qué lo leí todo. ¿Qué te pasa? Ah, su máquina. ¿Dónde es? Ah, por... ¿Quién es usted?
¡Sí, señor!
Sergio 2 acaba de suscribirse.
¡Ah, su máquina! No empiece. Gracias, Human. Mira, le cayó al Sergio. Sergio, mira, ya está. ¿Cómo? ¡Ah, claro! Es que es la primera, claro. Yo pensaba que ya lo habías hecho. Es la primera. ¿Va? ¿Qué pedo con la alerta? Pues... hay ciertas cosas que no cambian. Y de hecho, ahorita que estaba modificando los volúmenes, no le bajé volumen a esa alerta, güey. Perdón, a su máquina.
Hey! Hello? Do you know where Kazuha is?
You're looking for Kazuha too, huh? Guess he must have done something impressive after all.
¿También?
Well, we took the small vessels into Rito on a routine supply run, only this time, as soon as we entered the harbor, we ran into a huge crowd of Inazumans, all of them wanting to know about Kazuha. If it's because of that battle on Nezuchi Beach, Captain Beto had a great run there too, but I don't see her getting this kind of attention.
¿Alguien más vio lo que yo vi? Déjame ver. Gracias, Human Shark. Finally. La Nekoyomu, güey. Sí, cierto que la quería el Sergio. Mira, ahí ya la tiene. Pues se la di al Sergio, así que no la di random. ¡Ah! Vaya. Bueno, sí, cierto que se puede dar a unas personas en específico y no es random. Sí, cierto. Pero mira, se la dio. Oh. Continuamos. Gracias, por cierto, Human. Gracias por el apoyo, en serio, te agradezco. Gran compa.
Kazuha keeps to himself most of the time. In fact, there are times when he doesn't even listen to the captain, but she just laughs it off.
Ah, sí, cierto. El automático.
Oh, so you still don't know what he did?
I've heard bits and pieces. Something about him blocking the Raiden Shogun's Muso no Hitotachi.
¿Qué?
Is it really as big a deal as everyone's making it out to be?
Supongo que es como la técnica que Beidou usó para derrotar al Haishan. ¿Qué técnica utilizó Beidou para derrotar a Haishan?
Really? Wow. When you put it like that, it all makes sense. In that case, his newfound stardom is well deserved. He was called away earlier by some people from the Tenryou Commission. They said they had something important to discuss with him. I thought they'd come to arrest him at first. Turns out they couldn't have been friendlier to him. Seems like they really respect the guy.
Just a little while ago, this would have been completely unimaginable.
Después de todo, la mentalidad de la Shogun Raiden ha cambiado.
Thank you. Guess we'll go pay a visit to the Tenryou Commission.
Okay.
All right then. I'll just stay here and carry on trying to fend off the crowd.
Ok. Dirige a la sede de la comisión Tenryou. Vamos. Ahí tengo las diarias, las voy a hacer ahorita. Después de que termine esto. Pues, dice, sus mulos son más famosos que sus técnicas. La veo, ¿qué te pasa? Oye, y justamente antes de que actualizaran el juego, a la 2.8, yo dije, voy a volver a entrar aquí para nomás escuchar la música de este coso. Porque ya tenía bastante... Ah, sí, cierto, el código. Ah, lo tendré en el... Deme un momento. Lo tendré en el portapapeles. No lo tengo en el portapapeles, güey. Hay un nuevo código, ahorita se los paso. Para el que quiera, ¿no? Para el que tenga la oportunidad de canjearlo. Que da 60 puntos más. Es el código que tengo, bueno, es el correo que tengo ahí mostrado. Ya me escamé porque dije, ¿y eso se puede mostrar? pero sí se puede mostrar. Deme un momento mientras veo dónde demonios tengo el pinche código. Aquí está. Tengan, amiguitos. Ese es el código que da este correo. Por cierto, veo a alguien ahí. ¡Oh, no! Es el Commander Steve. Commander Steve. Anuncio que gracias al extenso tiempo que el Commander Steve se ha suscrito y ha visto la misma notificación cada vez que se suscribe, me ha motivado a cambiar o a poner más alertas. Pero esas son alertas de meses pasados, es decir, de 2 meses, de 4 meses, de 6 meses, de 5 meses, ¿saben? Entonces, para que el Commander Steve recapitule, tengo aquí un puñado de... Mira, tengo la de 2 meses, tengo la de 3 meses del Commander Steve, la de 4 meses, y así que vas a tener el honor de disfrutar de todas las alertas. Ya que estás aquí. Sigues aquí, ¿no? ¿Yo qué? Ah, no, sí, sigue aquí. A ver. Denme un momento mientras vuelvo a... Commander Steve, 2 meses. ¡Sí! Y me vuelvo a asustar.
Se ha vuelto a suscribir.
La de 3 meses es igual. Pero la de 4 meses es la que más me gusta a mí. Es que, güey, no. Ahí va la de 4 meses.
Complaciendo para todos los bailadores con esta rola que dice... 1, 2, 3, 4. ¡Eso! 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Commander 1 Steve se ha suscrito durante 4 meses.
La primera vez que lo vi en serio dije, no manches, tiene que ser la de 4 meses. Tiene que ser la de 4 meses. Ahí, la de 5 meses creo que sí la vio el Commander Steve, así igual la voy a poner.
Commander 1 Steve se ha vuelto a suscribir. ¿Te imaginas iniciar con una sub?
La de 5 sí creo que la vio. Estaba yo creo jugando el Crisis. A ver, la de 6 meses.
¡Sugoi!
Commander 1 Steve lleva 6 meses suscrito. Listo, ahora estoy con la conciencia tranquila.
La de 7 no la tengo, así que vamos con la de... Con la de 8. Igual es de más de 7. ¡Ay, chico, madre! Eso sí lo tengo que bajar.
Si lleva más de 6 meses suscrito. Vamos, hijos de la perra maracarculia, masturba burros, come guardas, masticatulas y la concha su mare.
No manches. Y la de 12 o 13 meses.
Commander 1 Steve lleva 1 año o más suscrito. Me acaban de signo de interrogación abierta a robar. Toda mi plata, jaja. Buena Vlad, como andamos aquí te mando un screamer, así que supongo que estás mal o bien, quién sabe, bueno eso ves.
Screamer.
Si me esperas si no me voy, bueno filo, hola Vladzinho.
¿Qué? ¿Qué? Acabo de darme cuenta de lo del final. Espera, si no me voy, bueno filo. Chingada más. Pues ahí están todas las alertas que en teoría se perdió el Commander Steve. Pero vuelvo e insisto, la de La de 4 meses es la que más me gusta. Está accesible, la verdad. Para las personas que tengan, verdad, eso de mi plata. Pues sí, eso sí me contaste, que sí era verdad. Que te acaban de robar, que te metieron... No, o sea, como robar entre comillas, porque te metieron una plata en la cuenta de otra persona y tú de que... ¿What? Buah. Sí tengo mis protogemas. Vámonos y vamos a curar un poquito a Jutao, ¿no? No importa. ¿Kazuha?
Oh? It's you.
Greetings. We were just discussing the repealing of the Vision Hunt decree. Since you're
¿Todavía?
here, you're very welcome to listen in on the conversation. We invited Mr. Kaedahara here to extend a gesture of goodwill on behalf of the shogunate. Your hard work has secured for us the agreeable state of affairs that we now enjoy. Also, I've been granted the chance to correct my clan's past mistakes, and for that, I'm deeply grateful. The Almighty Shogun has issued a large array of directives aimed at resolving, or at least easing, the tensions that have built up over the years. The Tri-Commission has made the recommendation to use this opportunity to restore the honor of the Kaedahara name. Regarding the history of the Kaedahara clan, I trust that you're already somewhat informed?
Algo he oído.
In short, there was once a group of select bladesmiths who served the shogun directly, responsible for upholding and further developing the traditional blade forging arts of the Almighty Shogun. The Kaedahara clan belonged to this class. But there came a time when some of these bladesmiths revolted and fled to Snezhnaya. Both the Kaedahara and Kamisato clans were held accountable for lax oversight and entered a period of great turmoil. We later learned that the whole misadventure had been secretly orchestrated by the Fatui. Attributing all of the blame to the Kamisato and Kaedahara clans was neither proper nor just. Considering Mr. Kaedahara has once more made an outstanding contribution to Inazuma, the Almighty Shogun believes he should not only be rewarded for his achievements, but also receive recompense for the excessive punishment borne by his clan in the past. In the interest of preventing further harassment of the Bladesmith clans by the Fatui, we chose not to publicly release the findings of our investigations into these matters. We trust you can understand why this was necessary.
This is a true honor. I am delighted to be in a position to receive the goodwill of the Almighty Shogun and the Shogunate at large. However, would I be correct to assume that this magnanimous gesture does not come without some strings attached?
Muy filoso
I can
el...
assure you that nothing could be further from the truth. We seek only to correct a past injustice. With the Kaedahara clan's reputation and occupation restored, the Kaedaharas will be bladesmiths once more, and your wanderings will finally come to an end. You will be able to lead a safe and prosperous life in Inazuma City with the Almighty Shogun's blessing and full support of the Shogunate.
I have grown accustomed to life among the elements. I fear I would no longer feel at home behind the tall walls of a stately abode.
Gracias, Carlitos Fint11 por seguirnos. Se te agradece el follow.
Yet my ancestors did indeed take great pride in the name of Kaedahara, and the art of blade making for which it stood. I do have a responsibility to restore their honor.
I sense some hesitation in your words. Should you accept this offer, I imagine many of the malicious rumors currently circulating through the populace will disappear.
Malicious rumors? All we heard on the way here was so much praise that we almost wondered whether there was another Kaedahara Kazuha in town.
J-Paimon.
To some, Muso no Hitotachi is something that can never be defeated. They cannot accept the idea that Mr. Kaedahara really parried the Shogun's strike. Also, eyewitnesses saw him using the power of Electro in addition to that of Animo. As a
Ah,
result, the falsehood that Kaedahara Kazuha was using illusion.
es cierto, es cierto.
But that doesn't make sense. Using a delusion turns you old and frail, and Kazuha still looks fine.
Es
That is
cierto.
correct. However, to some people, the idea of a single person wielding two elements at once is a more inconceivable notion still.
This is just one of many similar rumors. I am very uncomfortable with being the subject of public discussion, no matter whether it brings suspicion or stardom my way.
Debo aceptar de que esto de que la gente que me critique o me elogie me da igual, siempre incomoda. No sé si a ustedes les pasa lo mismo. O sea, que te elogien demasiado es como de ¡ay! ¡Aguanta, culero! O de que te critiquen demasiado es como de ¡para! Me pasa lo mismo. O sea, no me gusta que lo hagan tanto. Ching. Y con respecto a lo de los dos elementos, es porque tenía la misión de su maestro, entre comillas, ¿no? Y se activó en ese momento por la que pudo utilizarla. La voluntad del maestro, con la visión del maestro, fue lo que lo hizo controlar el elemento electro, ¿no? Pero ahora como no tiene ni la visión ni los poderes electro, pues ya no debería de preocuparle a nadie. O sea, debió haber solamente hecho un comunicado de que, hey, llevaba la visión de mi maestro y se presentó la voluntad de mi maestro. Y ya, o sea, ¿por qué? No duraría un solo día como influencer. ¡A su máquina! Ya valía entonces, ¿no?
But perhaps if the shogunate is
Y
willing to
Kazuha también.
support me, this situation will blow over more quickly.
This is precisely why I encourage you to give our offer some serious thought. It stands to benefit all of us.
Please allow me some time to consider. In fact, let us put this discussion on hold for the moment. Well then, what brings the two of you here?
Yikes! We nearly forgot about the most important thing!
Le hablan a Kazuha sobre el ataque a las afueras de la ciudad.
Why would such a dangerous individual be looking for me?
¿Serían otro discípulo de tu maestro?
No. This puzzles me as much as it does you. My fighting forms were taught to me by my family, based on techniques originally developed for blade testing. We undergo rigorous training to standardize every motion the blade is put through, so that each can be fairly assessed for quality. Over time, these techniques came to form something of a Kaedahara sword art, focused on blade testing, but with a full repertoire of combat forms. Those forms are quite different from the more practical ones typically used by samurai in battle. So it's hard to imagine that the similarity you speak of was coincidence alone.
All the more reason to watch your back! This guy was a serious nutcase.
Indeed. He sounds highly aggressive. Anyone he targets is at risk of serious injury, or worse.
In that case, I will send some men out immediately to search for him.
Thank you. I must say I am now very curious about this matter, and I will also need some time to consider your offer.
¿No
I
serán
will first join the traveler and investigate
miembros de la
the one
comisión
who attacked
Tenryu lo que lo mandaron a
you. I'll give you
buscar?
a conclusive answer upon my return.
Very well. Please stay safe.
Mm,
Come on. Let's go and track down your aggressor.
¡Vámonos! ¿Ese culero qué?
The detective agency knows the most about what goes on in town.
Vamos con Ryuji, sí.
She has to say.
¡Yes! Ya era tiempo, ¿no? Contexto de lo que está pasando. Parece que la comisión Tenryu se quiere disculpar con el clan Kaedera, algo así se llama el clan. Y pues están en trámites, no sé si trámites es en diálogos con el actual líder, que es Kaedera Kazuha. Kaedera, bueno, como se llama ese clan. Hola, buenas tardes. No me metió en misión. Oh, mira, Sango. De ver, digo. Tiene
Welcome to Bonton Sango Detective
pinta
Agency. What will you have me solve?
de Sumeru esa tipa.
There, we'd like to ask you a quick question. Do you know if any...
¡A su máquina! Su
Cat 65 se ha vuelto a suscribir.
puta madre. ¡Qué susto! Güey. La neta sí salté, güey. Y justamente venía a ponerle pausa para ¿cómo se llama? Leer el comentario de Sergio. Es mejor estar entre los cuervos que entre los elogiadores. Uno te comen muerto y otros te devoran vivo. Y entiendo. Así de mismo deberían disculparse en España por el lugar no comiences, güey, que la tontería de AMLO no tiene... No, es que no, güey. A la verga, dice. Eso te feo, concha de tu madre. Justo traigo audífonos y ya. Saquen clip. Pero es que como que no tengo la cara, pero bueno. Supongo que la reacción. Sí. Pero... ¿Han visto Tom y Jerry? Cuando Jerry lo asusta al gato, al Tom. Así salté, cabrón. Y ahorita estoy en el tejado, hablando desde el tejado, agarrado con las uñas, güey. Sí salté. Pero gracias, Human. Mira, ahora el Botcat. Qué hermoso el Botcat. Con su estrellita. ¿Tiene estrellita? No, el LOL tiene el de fundador, claro. Es que el Botcat y el Commander Steve fueron de los primeros cuando tenía la ¿cómo se llama? Cuando ya recién tenía el partner de ellos, fueron los primeros que se suscribieron, sí es cierto. Por eso tienen el icono de fundador. Pero mira, qué chido, qué chingón. Y ahora es el primero en el que el primero de la lista de los que han regalado subs. Esa lista es eterna, o sea, no es que sea semanal, ni mensual, ni anual, es eterna. En caso de que se lo pregunte.
Aha! So this is the renowned Mr. Kaedehara. I've heard a lot about you. It is an honor to finally meet you today.
You are too kind. We are currently investigating an assault and would appreciate any help you can offer.
Oh? You were targeted in an assault? Let me think. I can't seem to recall anything of immediate interest. Mr. Kaedehara is currently the talk of the town, so there are always a lot of people looking for him. To be honest with you, our detective agency has recently been receiving many inquiries from people wishing to obtain Mr. Kaedehara's personal information. Some of them were offering us millions of mora just to gather the information they want. If these were more legitimate commissions, Sango would have snapped them up in an instant.
¿Cómo?
Of Mora? Whoa! Oh, wait, even at that price, you probably still shouldn't.
Please, accept my thanks for looking out for my privacy.
Of course. No matter what, we only take on legitimate cases. We don't make our money by revealing details of other people's day-to-day life just for the sake of it.
Sí.
Sorry, I got a little off topic. What I'm really trying to say is, it doesn't surprise me that a complete stranger is looking for Mr. Kaedehara. But I wouldn't know where to begin if we want to connect this with an assault.
Then let's put that connection aside for now. Have there been any other attacks or similar incidents recently that stand out as particularly
¿Ataques?
unusual? The Tenryou Commission had very few leads. I thought you might have some information from different sources.
It's true that the commissioners aren't clued up about every little thing that goes on out in the streets. But typically, it's only the most trivial events that manage to escape their attention. If anyone had been out there attacking people, that would be assault, in which case the Tenryou Commission would absolutely get involved.
Tiene sentido.
Does make sense. Uh-oh. Looks like the trail's already run cold.
I still find it difficult to believe that whoever attacked you hasn't been causing any trouble elsewhere. Few people possess your prowess in battle. So unless you were the first person he targeted, someone is certain to have been hurt by now.
Si había atacado a alguien más. ¿Eso es un cumplido?
I am well aware of your talents. There is no need to be humble around me. In fact, I'm quite relieved that you were the one he targeted. It would cause me great grief to see someone become critically injured or lose their life because of me.
A su máquina.
This would be a completely senseless
Ya
crime.
me tienen escamado ustedes,
Don't worry, we'll find him.
It seems you are every bit the selfless hero they make you out to be, Mr. Kaidehara. Surely this same concern for your fellow man is what drove you to fearlessly raise your blade against the almighty Shogun.
You flatter me. Truth be told, I don't know quite what came over me in that moment.
You are much too humble. Don't worry, I completely understand your concerns. I will try my best to gather whatever leads I can from you. Oh, actually,
A su máquina.
there was one strange incident over the last few days. It doesn't involve an attack, though.
¿Se imaginan ahorita la Paimon?
Let me tell you about it just in case.
Sure. During times like this, the more information we have, the better.
Alright. Recently, 2 people went missing from the city at around the same time. One of them is a pretty well-known collector, surnamed Nagato. The other, Amenoma Yuya, is a samurai from the Amenoma clan.
Amenoma. Now there's a familiar name.
Right. Yuya is the nephew of Amenoma Togo, the owner of Amenoma Smithy. 2 grown men going missing at the same time.
No conozco los detalles.
These are likely connected.
Pero si ni siquiera estoy
Don't know
peleando.
much in the way of details.
Hablando de pelear.
Called this because Amenoma Yuya is also an accomplished martial artist who is skilled with the blade. Perhaps he is the one you are looking for.
Understood, though it seems highly unlikely to me. I neither know this man, nor do I have any idea why he may wish to attack me.
Considerémoslo un favor para Luigi.
Can't hurt. We never know what
Hey, el
we'll
Warlock.
find out along the way.
Te veo ahí escondido entre las sombras.
We'll start by making some inquiries at Amenoma Smithy.
Sounds good. All the best with your investigation. I'll get moving shortly myself.
Hola. Pues ya lo ves.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Se delató el Warlock. En 10 horas, changos, el día de mañana. Bueno, no importa, hoy día estamos de historia. El día de mañana ya puedo arruinarlo todo lo que quieras. Espera, ¿qué?
¡Mi pierna!
A ver.
Ah, if it isn't Kaedehara Kazuha, what brings you here today?
You two know each other?
Pues claro, son miembros forjadores, por así decirlo.
Amenoma clans were both members of the Raiden Gokaden.
Ahí está, miembros.
Historically, there have always been deep links between the 2 clans. After I returned
Miembros.
to Inazuma,
La palabra
I visited
miembro.
Mr. Amenoma to pay my respects.
Ya veo.
Yes, you may recall the story of the Raiden Gokaden from the Iridori Festival.
Miembros.
Though all bladesmiths trace their craft back to the same source, over time, each of us has arrived at a different blade-making philosophy, spawning the development of different branches of the same art.
El Commander Vlad tenía como 2 años. Lo dice porque me estoy riendo de las pendejadas, ¿no? Es que luego el Kevin me tiene así de escamoso. Porque cualquier tontería que digo es malinterpretada.
As an example, the Amenoma
Ya tengo miedo.
strives to emulate the abiding patience and determination of water as it turns stone to sand. There is nothing mystical to our work. There is only practice, day in and day out, until both body and mind have memorized the craft, turning each motion of every technique into an intrinsic part of the bladesmith's life. As for the art of the Kaedehara clan,
Ishin.
I believe it's
Sí.
called the Ishin art.
Ishin.
That's right. Ishin art strives for complete harmony between blade and mind from the moment that forging begins. For only a blade thus forged can capture and convey its maker's thoughts and feelings, and eventually become an extension of its wielder's will.
Permítame un momento, voy a checar qué tipo de filtro tengo yo activado. Ah, ya, ok. En el micrófono Se supone que tengo dos filtros. Uno que es el más nítido y el otro el que es más pobre, pero no me filtra lo que grito o lo que aplaudo, ¿sabes? El que está bien ahorita.
Indeed.
Está bien el que está ahorita, que digo.
Most samurai choose their blades, but an Ishin blade chooses its owner.
Ajá.
You are, without a doubt, the most worthy wielder of an Ishin blade. It gladdens my heart to see that although the Kaedahara clan has fallen on hard times, its ideals and virtues are alive and well.
You overestimate me. My actions are guided by my own personal sentiments, not by any noble aspirations on behalf of my clan. But let's get back on topic. The purpose of our visit today is to gather some information on your missing nephew. Hope to assist with the investigation. It may turn out that this case is connected to another we are pursuing.
Ya.
Ah, yes. My nephew. I reported the case to the Tenryou Commission, but I haven't heard anything back so far. He didn't say a word before he left, which is very unlike him. I'm still completely at a loss on what to make of it, but I've done what I can so far. Worrying is futile. All I can do now is wait for the news from the Tenryou Commission.
We heard that there was a collector involved in the disappearance too. Know anything about that?
Yes. On the morning that Yuya went missing, he gave me a very cryptic look and said that he was going to give me a great gift. I believe he went to collect the item from Mr. Nagato after that. The next thing I heard was that a fire had broken out.
Chin se suicidó ese men. O bueno.
Neither of them came back.
O mató a alguien y se fue el otro. ¿Quién sabe? Ayer, güey. La que te encanta. ¿Qué te pasa?
Yes. Strange, isn't it? I wonder what could have caused it. Unfortunately, there was very little evidence left behind, so nobody knows what really happened.
Do you have any thoughts on what Yuya may have wanted to give you?
If I had to guess, it must have been some kind of rare weapon.
Oh!
There would have been no reason for him to get my hopes up. He's never been particularly interested in blade forging, but has always had a fondness for blade testing, and can sense even the most minute differences in blade quality.
Claro, esa es la espada que bien vimos, ¿no?
Ordinarily talented in martial arts, particularly when it comes to the art of the sword.
Truth be told, we have some information that you may find to be objectionable. The person we are looking for, he attacked this friend of mine.
Interesante. ¿Será que la espada que nos van a regalar nos la dan ya a nivel 90? Me gustaría, ¿eh? Porque siendo un arma de Inazuma, necesito los materiales de extensión, cosa que esos materiales yo no poseo. Estaría chido, ¿eh? Pero lo dudo mucho de Hoyoverse.
Only Yuya seems to match the suspect's profile.
What? No. Absolutely impossible. Yuya is not that kind of person. He is humble and kind. Even his training is done with the goal of calming his mind.
Pues entonces no es Yuya, es la persona con la que estuvo en el almacén.
Is that so?
Yes. If there's one thing I
¿Y Yuya está
can say
muerto?
for certain, it's that Yuya would never draw his blade without a very good reason. But, with that said, it's equally out of character for him to just disappear.
Aquí vemos una constante, los que matan son a los NPCs nada más, no a personajes.
He might be capable of if coerced, or otherwise compelled by circumstances unbeknownst to me. Anyway, should you find him, please let me know as soon as possible.
Ajá.
Don't worry, you have our word.
From the sound of that, Paimon doesn't think Yuya was the one who attacked us as well.
Deberíamos hablar con la familia de Nagato.
Yes.
¿Nagato?
It sounds as if
¿Nagatoro?
something happened when the two
Digo, ¿qué?
men met each other. Let's pay a visit to the Nagato household.
Corramos. A ver, ¿qué demonios? ¿Dónde es eso? ¿Dónde es eso? Pues arriba de nuevo. Y ya que estamos ahí... Oh, La madre. Esa misión, güey. Tonto. ¿Qué pasó?
Tu hoyo próxima acto podrán tener los materiales Blanca Hydrated.
Pues la próxima actualización probablemente metan 2 dominios que son obviamente los de talento y los para material de ascensión de armas, y esos serán los que sean de la región de Sumeru. Pero para las nuevas armas y los nuevos personajes, esos habrán que farmearlos. Además de que van a meter nuevos enemigos y que la chingadera, y no vas a estar preparado para subir el nivel de los personajes. Eso es triste. Eso es triste, pues, ¿cómo les digo? Tienes que estar esperando semanas hasta conseguir resina y que puedas subir a tus personajes al nivel que quieres. What? ¿Cuál altar? Ah, no, espérate. Me confundí un poco con la misión que tengo ahorita activa. Tonto. Pero, ¿por qué? ¿Qué hice ahora? ¿Qué hice para merecer el adjetivo de tonto? Protogemas, vámonos. Yo no veo ahí misiones, yo veo protogemas. ¡Ah! ¿Por aquí? Hola.
I'm very sorry, but we cannot afford to pay what we owe right now. My husband has gone missing and I'm still trying to find him.
Sachiko. Ese nombre lo tengo arraigado en mi memoria de lo de Corse Party. Sachiko negaishimasu. Te lo pedimos, Sachiko. Recuerdos traumatizantes. Momento cuello, ¿qué te pasa? Esa era. De hecho, lo vimos en stream en un momento determinado, antes de que dejaran emitir anime en Twitch. Lo vimos en un 31 de octubre. El de Corse Party, el de la niña esta. Sí, pero ¿quién era? Sachiko, la niña, la del vestido rojo. Básicamente, espérate, ¿sí? O así se llama, o así le decían al espíritu. Creo que era el de espíritu. Porque la niña tenía otro nombre. No me acuerdo. En los juegos lo describen de otra manera. Pero cuando hacen la invocación, el ritual, mejor dicho, sí le dicen Sachiko. O me estoy enredando. O ese es el apellido. Creo que es el apellido. Pendejo. Ese juego y esa historia es tan... ¿Saben? Continúa.
No, you misunderstand us. We are here to help with the investigation. We'd like to ask you some questions about Mr. Nagato's disappearance, if we may.
Ah, I see. I thought the debt collectors had come to visit again. I'm sorry you have to see me in this dreadful state. Has some new information come out? Do you know where he's gone?
I'm afraid we don't have any new information at the moment. We're still trying to find out as much as we can to inform our search. With this in mind, can we perhaps ask some questions about your family's current situation?
For example, Paimon's struggling to understand why a collector would be strapped for Mora.
That's a long story.
¿Cómo es que un coleccionista tiene un montón de deudas? Paimon, por favor, que no vives en el mundo real. Bueno, pendejo yo también que estoy hablando. Así funciona el mundo real, Paimon. ¿Eres coleccionista? De alguna tontería tienes que venderte un riñón para conseguir tu colección de cualquier mamada. Tantito peor si es de vehículos. Imagínense, colecciones de mamadas. Digo, la versión de PSP sigue siendo mi favorita. Igual. Porque horror ASMR. Y el soundtrack, pues está muy bien rehecho. Es un remake muy bien hecho. Los Funkos. Los Funkos, la colección de Funkos. ¿Qué te pasa? Ale. Eso ya está bien underground, ¿eh? Pero venga. Las personas y sus gustos. Respetemos los gustos de las personas.
He'd always get so animated when he was showing them to me. I knew nothing about the items myself, but seeing how enthusiastic and excited they made him.
Ay, el amor de una madre.
Extremely important to him. Everything was fine when we first got married, but as time went by,
no es de una madre, sino de una esposa.
Uh-oh, what happened?
Y todo alegre.
He lost his sense of restraint. He started buying more and more things, and even resorted to borrowing
Es que eso, ese es el problema de los coleccionistas.
He spiraled out of control when he started getting interested in weapons. It was awful.
Colección de agua de las waifus de Genshin.
¿Qué te pasa? At the warehouse, admiring his weapons.
Agüita game, ¿cómo era? Agüita de Paymon Gamer, ¿eh?
He wouldn't sell them.
Ay, qué asco.
Even touch them. Just sat there staring at them like he was in a trance. I'm happy he has a hobby and I'm willing to support him, but making ends meet has to come first. I've tried talking to him about it so many times, but he never listens. On the last day that I saw him, I gave him an ultimatum. I said, if he refused to sell his collectibles and pay off his debts, divorce and take the children with me.
No mames, lo que se me acaba de pasar por la cabeza, güey. ¿Sí se acuerdan que a Paymon le dicen comida de emergencia, verdad? Si le hicieran sopa... Si le hicieran sopa, sería que su sopa sabe a caldo de pollo. Continuemos.
And that led to an argument.
Actually, it didn't.
¿Por qué me censuran luego?
Man who likes to go with the flow. Most things he leaves the decision-making to me. You must understand, I never would have dreamed of threatening him with divorce if the debts hadn't pushed our family to the brink. After I said those words, he froze and was silent for a long time. When he finally spoke, he awkwardly mumbled that he would pick out a few items to sell.
Ay, cabrón, qué perro pinche homosexual asco. El saborcito de las aguas termales en los animales. En los animes, güey. ¿Animales? ¿Te imaginas? Tantito peor.
Y luego yo y el Kevs pensamos de más mamón XD.
Son secuelas de ustedes.
His voice was so meek and pitiful that I felt an urge to take everything back. But then what? If I didn't draw the line, what would happen to our family?
¿Qué sería si no le pusieran un límite? Es que igual... Uy, la Lumin toda enojada, güey. Le voy a sacar captura. Dame eso. ¿Qué chingados? Pero miren, tantito mejor en el anime de las aguas termales. Sean las personas que se estén bañando, sigue el agua transparente. Si fuera en la vida real es agua... Han ido a piscinas municipales o piscinas públicas. Bueno, eso es lo que pasa. Y no en el anime. ¿Hiciste lo correcto?
Had I not indulged his bad habits, we wouldn't have found ourselves in such a predicament. And I also don't know if he had actually come to his senses,
Hay playas nudistas.
or if he was simply angry with me. The next thing I heard was that our warehouse had caught fire, and both he and the buyer had gone missing.
I see. I understand. Amin Omeyuya came to purchase a weapon from Mr. Nagato. During the sale, a fire broke out at the warehouse, and both men disappeared.
At first, I assumed but my husband has never been one to negotiate. He never even haggles when he's out buying groceries, so it's hard to imagine him getting into a fierce argument.
Maybe he was feeling the pressure from the debts?
I don't know. he just disappeared after the warehouse burned down. Perhaps he's too afraid to come home now that all his collectibles have been lost in the fire, and he's got no way to pay off our debts. Even though I'm still a little mad at him, we're a family, and I want us to face our family's crisis together. As long as he's willing to turn over a new leaf, I know we can work things out.
Please don't get upset. There could be more to this situation than meets the eye. If
¿Cuál de los dos entonces se
a
murió?
habit that Mr. Nagato had his whole life, it is quite unusual for this habit to change so drastically over a short period. But the information we gathered from the other side suggests Ame no Mayuya is also a mild-mannered man who would not be likely to
Llenas de orines de Chelsea, ¿tú un héroe? ¿Qué te pasa? ¿Te imaginas una escuela militar en Estados Unidos?
a little confusing.
¿Cómo?
A little confusing. More like completely
O sea, no le veo nada de malo.
terrifying.
De hecho, hay muchas escuelas militares en Estados Unidos.
Together what we've learned. Rest assured, we'll notify you if we find anything.
Thank you so much. I just want him to come home.
El que entendió, entendió. Chale. Ahí confirmo mi inocencia.
Based on the information we've gathered so far, I can only surmise that the sales meeting between the two men was somehow the catalyst for their disappearance.
¿Cómo lo
The
supo?
fire at the warehouse likely played a part in how the situation unfolded, though its exact role is a mystery. Do you have any thoughts?
No me pregunte.
Well, Paima was thinking that maybe someone accidentally knocked over an oil lamp and,
¿Aceite?
nope, never mind. Paimon's brain needs to rest for a while. Over to you.
¿Sale poner una tienda de armas al lado de una escuela?
Este imbécil. Bueno, más o menos por ahí le entiendo. Hasta te ponen en los comerciales de televisión pidiendo que te unas a la marina. ¿Eso es cierto? Ya, pero no hay que ir tan lejos. Y donde viven hay piscinas públicas, excepto Monterrey. Pinche gente que no se limpia bien el culo. Calabi. Pero viendo cómo son, cualquier pendejo puede ser marinero, policía. Marín, sí, claro, marín. Policía, no más. Se quedan parados cuando hay algún atentado morro con la pistola. Pues es que allá en Estados Unidos, o sea, es por cultura. En Estados Unidos tienen la cultura de que tienes un arma, pues la gente generalmente pensará, ajá, pues tendrá permisos, ¿no? Tendrá incluso un examen psicológico aprobado que le permita tener armas. O sea, la gente allá no se escama porque te vea con armas. La gente se escama cuando ya la persona ha disparado a una persona y ya la tiene media muerta o muerta literalmente en el suelo. Pero de ahí en otras, creo que es normal en Estados Unidos ver a una persona con arma, que una persona vea a otra con arma y decir, no, pues, chingón el vato, ¿sabes? Tal vez y si provocaron el incendio para ocultar la verdad.
An interesting explanation. I was also considering this possibility.
No es cierto.
Ame no Mayuya is an expert on swords. He could have noticed some problematic details about Mr. Nagato's collectibles. Maybe he recognized a blade as a fake, or a well-known stolen item. Either way, after arguing about it, the two men agreed to hide the truth of this matter. They thought a fire would destroy everything. But then the Tenryou Commission began investigating and uncovered some incriminating details, so they fled to protect their secrets. But it's a far-fetched theory. I can't imagine how they would have been able to reach an agreement. One fact that I keep coming back to is that Ame no Mayuya is polite and well-mannered, while Mr. Nagato is introverted and passive. Neither seems like the type of person who's inclined towards initiating conflict. Mr. Nagato, being heavily in debt, is also the only one of them with the potential motive to disappear after the fire. The more I ponder it, the more puzzling it becomes. Just what could have happened there?
Tampoco parece estar conectado con el atacante.
Right. Although the time frame seems to broadly match, no other details that we've learned seem to link the two events together. Amenoma Yuya lacks a key distinguishing feature of the attacker, namely that he is principally a practitioner of the blade testing techniques of Amenoma art, not those of the combat-oriented Ishin art.
Darn! We thought we could get two birds with one stone here, but at this rate, it's starting to look like a wild goose chase.
Yeah.
Let's keep going, since we've come this far. If we can solve the case, both Mr. Amenoma and Mrs. Nagato will be able to get some closure.
Okay, but where should we go now?
Let's head out of the city and check out the warehouse. There's still a chance we may be able to find some shreds of evidence.
¿Almacén? ¿Dónde es? ¿Dónde está esa madre?
Take it easy.
Porque recuerdo... A ver. Yo recuerdo las misiones de Inazuma. Y no me vayan a decir que es esa casa de ahí, porque no les voy a creer. Eso es un almacén. What? Ah, bueno.
Wait.
Que esperen.
I hear something ominous in the wind.
Oh! This must be another one of those sounds that only you can hear. As sketchy as that whole thing seems, you did put it to good use when we were chasing down that vision thief at Beto's tournament, so...
Es bastante confiable.
Now I'm picking up a strong scent in addition to the sound. It's right around here somewhere.
But there's nothing here.
It's gone now, but I can still sense the direction it left in. It felt very much like that ancient presence in Inazuma. The remnants of the Tatarigami.
No pensé que nos encontrábamos con uno aquí, los Tatarigami.
Indeed. But this unexpected spring of inauspicious energy may prove to be of benefit to our investigation. We should remain vigilant and approach slowly.
Okay. Oh.
Huh. So it's an underground
Eso
warehouse.
nunca estuvo ahí.
The force is definitely coming from down below. The source of the Tatarigami energy has long since left this place, but the residue it left behind still hasn't dissipated completely. Judging from the concentration, I would have to conclude that the Tatarigami source resided here for a very long time.
Mrs. Nagato said her husband used to hang around the warehouse by himself a lot.
It could well be that he was already under the influence of Tatarigami energy at that time.
¿Cómo es que nadie lo notó?
From what I've been told, Tatarigami does not turn all upon whom it preys into violent monsters, but most will develop a stubborn streak upon being exposed to the Tatarigami's unfulfilled will. Their interests become fanatical obsessions. Mr. Nagato had an interest in collecting to begin with. The influence of Tatarigami could explain why he became an obsessive hoarder, amassing more and more possessions, even as he put himself in grave debt.
Claro.
So what should we do now? Go down and take a look?
O sea, como que lo influyeron a
Take a look inside. If we don't open this door, we can move
hacer
no
lo que más
closer to
quería,
the
pero
truth.
de manera obsesiva.
You needn't worry. Both of us have faced far greater dangers than this. Relatively speaking, the risk here is trivial.
Con que este es en, el gameplay de PlayStation, ¿eh? Básicamente son cinemáticas que presiona A para responder y no pasa absolutamente nada. Digo, ¿qué?
It looks
¿Cómo
like
que?
the fire caused a cave-in, reducing the entire warehouse to rubble.
¿Qué? No sé si es bueno o es malo.
That was too scary! Paimon was so sure that the warehouse boogeyman was about to jump out at us!
Yeah.
All we can do now is keep searching in the direction that the Tatarigami energy source left this place. 2 ordinary humans, entangled with the Tatarigami. I fear much misfortune has already befallen them.
No hay tiempo que perder, démonos prisa.
Yes, let's go. If nothing else, it's vital that we find out where this Tatarigami energy is coming from.
¿Es hora de calabozo?
Quiet your mind and focus on what you sense around you. Perhaps you too will perceive its ominous presence in the wind.
A ver. Sigue Laura para encontrar pistas. ¿Cuál Laura? Oh. Estas cosas de visión elemental, que seguir el aura y que la chingada, me recuerda mucho a la pendejada esta del templo del espíritu. Del templo del... No me acuerdo cómo se llama. Pero era el del desierto, que tenías que seguir a un fantasmita.
The trail appears to split into 2.
Oh
The
shit.
main source of the Tatarigami energy continued on into the distance, but a small portion remained here and seems to be dissipating slowly.
¿Eran Nagato y Yuya?
Quite possibly. Let's search the area.
Pues veamos.
Whoa! Look at all those hilly churls! They're acting really strangely.
¿Cuál es Hilichurus?
Seems to be drawing their attention. Let's take a closer look.
Hola.
I will have order.
Le pegué al de atrás, ¿verdad? Hijos de su...
Time to go!
It's...
Ugh! Look at this red stuff!
Sangre.
What is it?
By the looks of it, a letter written on a piece of torn clothing. The ink is bone dry. It must have been written quite some time ago.
A ver.
Well, let's take a look.
A ver. Me llamo Nagato. Fui herido por a... Oh, ¿cómo querido? Herido por Amenoma Yuya. Él me robó mi más preciada espada, así que lo perseguí, pero no fui capaz de alcanzarle. Estoy tan cansado que no tengo más remedio que descansar aquí. La herida de mi vientre no deja de sangrar. No creo que me quede mucho más tiempo, aunque siento como si alguna extraña fuerza estuviera haciendo que resista. ¿Por qué me robaría la espada? Ya habíamos acordado que se la vendería. Incluso ha quemado mi almacén. Me duele tanto, pero por algún motivo no termino de perder la conciencia. Lo único que puedo hacer para no pensar en el dolor es escribir. ¿Qué será de Sachiko, Yuichi y Yuji? Me gustaría tanto decirles que lo siento. Estaba demasiado obcecado y me dejé llevar por mi obsesión. Debo de haber sido presa de alguna maldición. Todo este tiempo coleccionando esos objetos extraños. Pero no me han traído ni la felicidad ni el cariño que tanto anhelo. Todos juntos no valen tanto como una mera palabra suya. Gracias, Sachiko. Lamento mucho haberte defraudado.
According to this letter, a conflict arose because Amenoma Yuya wanted to seize a blade belonging to Mr. Nagato. Yuya started the fire that destroyed the warehouse and wounded Mr. Nagato in the fight. Mr. Nagato kept chase as long as he could, eventually stopping here to write this letter when his strength gave out.
So, where is he?
He was not only mortally wounded, but also under the heavy influence of Tatarigami. Add to that the fact that its aura seems to have attracted a horde of monsters.
F.
I'm afraid he may no longer be with us.
F.
Whatever traces there may have been of his fate beyond after this point, they've since been disturbed by the hilly churls. There's nothing more for us to find here.
Pediremos a la comisión terrible que haga una cosa en búsqueda más justa.
Right now, we need to uncover some more important truths. If Ame no Mayuya is attacking other people indiscriminately, then the longer we take to find him, the more people risk meeting the same tragic end.
Right, so let's get moving.
¿Cómo llegamos a esto?
I wouldn't be surprised if he too fell prey to the influence of the Tatarigami.
Pero si él era
Practitioner
pasivo,
of the martial arts, the easiest desire to inflame would be their pursuit of further power and skill.
pues sí.
Seemed disparate and disconnected. It seems that now we know the thread that runs between them. I have a hypothesis that, if it's correct, not only explains the series of events leading to the two men's disappearance, but also zeroes in on the attacker's identity.
Wait, you figured it out? So these two cases are connected after all?
I believe so. But it's something of an outlandish idea. I will only be able to confirm my suspicions once we've met him in person. On with the search. We must stay vigilant. At any point now, we may find ourselves in danger.
Continúa siguiendo el aura para encontrar las pistas.
He seems to have stayed here for a long time.
Why here?
Barquito.
Is there anything special about this place?
I'm not sure. But on closer examination, I sense that the aura may have lingered here at several different points in time.
A ver.
Show yourself. It's no use hiding anymore.
Kaedehara Kazuha. It's you, at last.
Aha! So it is the same guy from before. What's your problem, huh? What could you possibly have against Kazuha?
Indeed, there should be no enmity between us. If it is Ame no Mayuya that stands before us. But what if instead of facing Ame no Mayuya, we are in fact facing the blade?
Eso cambia las cosas. Eso cambia las cosas. Y qué bonita arma.
Now that you mention it, it is giving off a strange light. Whoa, whoa! Surely you don't mean... Are you serious?
Tatarigami energy often lodges itself within physical objects, then works to subtly affect any living organisms in its vicinity. The blade has resided in Mr. Nagato's warehouse for many years, affecting his state of mind, and more recently using the sale as a means to affect, or rather as a means to occupy, Ame no Mayuya's
Porque él sigue las artes.
Sharper than I thought. You've already deduced the truth of the matter. Many, many years ago, I was forged by a famed bladesmith of the Ishin tradition. I was his pride and joy. In me, he placed all his hopes and dreams. As a descendant of the Kaedehara clan, you should be able to guess our greatest regret.
I presume it has something to do with the Raiden Gokaden.
Indeed. At that point in time, he failed to live up to the Raiden Shogun's expectations. In the end, all he could do was to flee the
Como que es
nation
Snezhnaya.
on a ship bound for Snezhnaya. He was a bladesmith of great renown, a master of his craft. There was nothing that he could not accomplish. All he needed was more time and a little faith. And sure enough, in the end, he achieved what he had set out to do. All of his life's work, his wisdom, his skill, it culminated in his creation of me. He not only bestowed upon me the greatest of strength, but also endowed me with a consciousness of my own. In her conceit, the Raiden Shogun lost not only the single most perfect blade in the entire world, but also an irreplaceable achievement in the art of blade forging.
Es neta que esa espada se ve así equipada y todo. Un personaje normal.
The people of the time in which I was born never believed I had that kind of power. They saw me as a mere blade, a sharp and well-crafted one, but in all other respects an ordinary weapon. But that gave me the opportunity to take action. After the death of my creator, I decided to leave Snezhnaya and began my long quest to return to the distant land of Inazuma. Moving from one person to the next, I controlled the minds of countless hosts along the way, each bringing me one step closer to my ancestral home. I seek but one thing: to face the full force of the Raiden Shogun's blade and prove my power.
Ah, por eso es que buscaba a Kazuha. Esto es una reverenda tontería.
So Amenoma Yuya was not your first victim. Tell me, what happens to those you've possessed when you've finished using them?
My hosts? Who cares what happens to them? They are but tools that serve my mission. When they got tired, or injured, or unusable, I hopped to the next one in line. All I needed them for was to take me back to Inazuma.
You're awful.
After I returned to Inazuma, I decided to bide my time in Nagato's warehouse until Amenoma Yuya handed himself over to me on a silver platter. At long last, I'm approaching my journey's destination. By Amenoma Yuya's body, I have found you, and by your hand, I shall defeat the Raiden Shogun. Kaedehara Kazuha, you stood against the Raiden Shogun's Muso no Hitotachi. There can be no other to serve as my host for what is to come. Now, give your body over to me!
Yo digo como que no. De hecho, está lloviendo. Ajá.
Join me and summon that divine light.
Wind strider. Into the wind. That hurts.
Solidify.
Busted.
Rewrite history.
Yeah. As one with wind and cloud. Wind strider.
Antes de... ¿qué espada lleva? ¿What? Al golpear a un enemigo con un ataque, hay un 50% de probabilidad de infligir un 240% de daño a un solo enemigo. Este efecto puede ocurrir una vez cada 15 segundos. Ya, pero... ¿What? ¿Hoja de filetear? Había mejores espadas, ¿no? No mames. ¿C3? ¿C4? C3. Ok. Humilde. Pásate para allá. ¿Y sacarás a Kazuha? No.
Or I will strike you down too.
Your bluff's fooling no one. You've lost.
Lost? I can never lose. It is this body that has reached its limit, nothing more. Even if you defeat me here, the one who falls will not be me, but this man. He is but a puppet that can be replaced. I can take a new vessel at will.
Entonces tendremos que hacerte pedazos.
The end result is the same. I will end this wretch's life before you can lift a finger. And even if I were to lose my physical form, it is but a small setback. My consciousness shall endure. By any means necessary, and any medium available, I shall return and fulfill my destiny!
Your fighting style. It is indeed the forms of Ishin art. But from your movements, I sense only hatred
Por lo
and
menos te
arrogance,
servirá para que te
as
haga
well as a
filetes con esa
thinly
espada de
veiled
filetear.
mania and despair.
Really?
¿Qué pendeja?
You can tell all that just from his moves?
As I've mentioned before,
Es que así se llama, hoja de
forms
afilar.
of Ishin art convey the user's thoughts and feelings. Since the blade is currently possessing Aminome Yuya's body, its movements express the innermost thoughts of the blade. If you ask me, the mania is probably due to your desperate, single-minded ambition. You believe I am your only hope.
Are you trying to claim that I am helpless without you? On his deathbed, he passed to me all of Ishin Art's secrets. The little that you know barely scratches the surface. In that regard, why would I ever need your help?
Because all of that is in the past. I've been wondering why you've not caused more trouble in all the years that you've been in Inazuma. If you are indeed a cursed blade that can possess its owner. Now that I've seen inside your mind, everything finally makes sense. You weren't biding your time. You were trapped. After all the time that's passed, you have grown weak. To the point that you are now unable to acquire a new host without making physical contact.
Oh, that's right. Paimon remembers now. Mr. Nagato had a habit of never touching his collectibles.
Only when Mr. Nagato witnessed his wife's distress and decided to sell his collectibles did you finally have an opportunity to reach out to Aminome Yuya and make your escape.
And what of it?
Well, that brings me to my second point. There's a despair in you that is so strong it threatens to overwhelm you. You were determined to fulfill your maker's ambition,
Le dijo
whatever the
virgen,
cost.
efectivamente.
But this ambition is too grand, and too heavy for you to bear. Each step you have taken has come at a great cost. I think you realized your limitations long ago. The more you clenched your teeth and pressed forward, the greater your fear of losing everything you had achieved grew, and the more you wished to run from the truth. But the way I see it, what began as an ambition has long since become a delusional fantasy.
What would you know about any of this? I'm just one step away from achieving my goal.
You returned to Inazuma to prove the unparalleled brilliance of Ishin art. But to make this arduous journey, you committed countless atrocities and showed a blatant disregard for human life. Even if you were to sever that divine light, is this truly the outcome that your maker would have desired?
Golpe bajo.
You...
Sure, you inherited the secrets of Ishin art. But even as you made your journey to honor this legacy, you treated the ones who wielded you as mere tools to do your bidding. How could you possibly unleash the full potential of Ishin art when you act in perfect discordance with the principle of harmony between a blade and its bearer?
Silence, you blabbering fool! I must achieve my goal. This was his life's dream, and the very purpose for which I was brought into being. I will concede that you are most perceptive. You see my predicament clearly. But you also underestimate my resolve.
Hey, saludos, Zipper1313.
Face reality.
¿Qué tal? Bienvenido.
To say, facing reality offers me nothing. I have no need of
Andamos peleando contra una espada.
stand in my way. Not hesitation, not self-reflection, and certainly not your so-called reality. It is pointless to argue further, descendant of the Kaedahara clan. If you wish to save this man, then offer me your body in exchange.
Espada malula.
How stubbornly you stick to your wayward path. I do not believe for a second that you can challenge the almighty Shogun in your current state. So let us make a bet, and I will put your strength to the test.
What? Surely you're not planning to agree to his demands.
Very well. Then find yourself some enemies with whom you wish to cross blades. A taste of my power will more than convince you.
Espera.
Once we have dealt with them, we shall proceed to Tenshukaku.
Espera.
As for your end of the bargain, if you lose, you must release Aminome Yuya from your control.
Espera. Espera. ¿Qué dice por acá? Ya vino el que quiere construir un puente con porongas a lo Polybright. ¿Qué me dice? Espérate. ¿Qué tal estaba? Bienvenido. Me dice sexo. Polybright. Veruga. Ya. Verga. Veruga. Si le añades una R más, es verruga en vez de veruga. ¿Qué tal estaba? Bienvenido. Konnichiwa. Konnichiwa. Bienvenido. ¿Por qué? Espérate. No. No. Es Ohio. Ohio. Estaba bien. Lo siento. Mi reloj japonés no funciona muy bien, creo. Trato hecho. Es demasiado peligroso. Estás lidiando con una espada capaz de poseer a las personas. Ya lo creo. Me dice Konnichiwa. Bueno, realmente no es de tarde, así que sería como de que Ohio. Pero bueno.
This is the only way to save Ame no Miyuya. If we don't do this, he'll forever be the Blade's puppet. The cursed Blade's strength is currently very weak, and I sense he's hesitating. This suggests his heart is still not completely devoid of honor.
Honor.
The power of the Tatarigami lies in intensifying existing obsessions. This is the reason Mr. Nagato and Ame no Miyuya fell prey to it. Since I don't have any similar kinds of obsessions, I should be able to put up some resistance for a while.
But even so...
Incluso así.
Even if things take a turn for the worse, I still have you both here with me. We have a chance here to save an innocent victim. I am willing to accept the risks entailed.
De acuerdo.
Your disdain for me betrays your woeful ignorance. I agreed to this bet because there are things I wish to learn too. Now,
empúñame.
In your hand.
Me suena muy mal.
Kazuha?
I'm okay. I felt a little dizzy at first, but only for a moment. It's all right. So far, this was as I expected.
Avísanos de inmediato si sientes que algo va mal.
I will. Thank you.
What should we do next? Have you got a plan, Kazuha?
We find some enemies. Although this blade has endured much turmoil, it probably hasn't experienced many real fights. If a blade built for Ishin art cannot enter a state of harmony between blade and bearer, it cannot unleash its true power. If he wants to avoid reality, then we need to fight until he has no choice but to face it. He shouldn't last long in an intense combat situation.
Wait a minute! Paimon remembers hearing about something from the Adventurers Guild. Since the Takasukasa clan abandoned that secret base, it's been held by Ronin ever since.
Es una opción apropiada.
All right. Please lead the way.
A ver.
What about Ame no Miyuya? What should we do with him?
The blade says he'll let Ame no Miyuya trail us silently. Although he hasn't regained his own consciousness yet, he is not in any immediate danger.
Are we sure this is a good idea? It's a pretty treacherous journey. Okay, fine. Just be careful.
Ok. A su máquina. ¿Cómo que ahí arriba? ¿Cómo que ahí arriba? Espérate, allí no fue donde... Iba a ser ahí, ¿verdad? Donde una vez quisimos enfrentarnos con no sé qué chingadera para la misión de la Shogun Raiden. Ok, ahorita voy.
Prefiero la Paimon Japo. Está demasiado chillona la English XD.
Tanto en Japón como en inglés son chillonas, pero en inglés sí se pasaron un poquito, la verdad. De hecho, al inicio el inglés sí estaba como que más grave su voz, sino que la actriz de voz dijo, pues sería buena idea que su voz sea más fina, así que la hizo más fina y no mames, qué castrosa. Pero venga, la entiendo, así que... O sea, entiendo a los personajes cuando hablan en inglés y no en japonés. Antigua base ocupada. Yes. ¿Cómo que?
No me quiero imaginar cómo sería Genshin con voces al español.
Yo probablemente me lo imagino, pero, ¿saben? Yo estaría dispuesto a cambiarlo al español. Es que el esfuerzo que hay que hacer para leer...
Leave everything on this journey to me.
Ya no lo quiero pasar. ¡Ey! ¿Y entonces por qué me dijeron que seleccione personajes y no los voy a utilizar?
My lucky day.
¡Ay!
The wind knows me.
Su máquina.
My blade.
Oh shit. Vengan, 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 vengan.
Fallen leaves, adorn my night, one with nature.
How are you feeling? You okay?
I'm all right. The blade is performing largely as I expected. Having gone so long without proper use and maintenance, it's become very difficult to use. Though he's making every effort to persevere, I do not think he can last much longer.
Lel.
¿Kazuha tiene el mismo equipamiento como el de prueba donde te dan las protos?
No.
Strange. Rather than trying to control me, he's instead trying to match my fighting rhythm. Let's keep going.
No, definitivamente no. Es un equipamiento diferente. Aunque ahorita tiene la espada esta. Las estadísticas siguen siendo las mismas. Y los artefactos... no son los mismos. Es distinto. Eso sí, las constelaciones en esta prueba en específico, la que es la de misión, sí te dan C3. En la prueba, la que te da protogemas, acá, en esta prueba de aquí no te lo da C3, te lo da C0. Con una mejor arma y con un mejor equipamiento. Sí, es cierto, tengo que buscar cofres. Los cofres están ocultos. Okay.
Time to go.
Ocultos como la novia que Dios me mandó.
Qué triste.
Into the wind. One with nature.
To the ferry.
¿Cuál es la pasiva del arma? Al golpear a un enemigo con un ataque normal, cargado o descendiente, ¿ok? Se libera un espíritu maldito que inflige un daño en el área de efecto equivalente al 180% del ataque. ¿Ok? Y regenera una cantidad de vida equivalente al 100% del ataque. ¿Ok? Este efecto solo se puede activar una vez cada 8 segundos. El daño que inflige el personaje que lleva esta espada equipada se reduce en un 50%. ¡Qué mierda!, ¿no? ¡Wow! Esto sí es un poquito mierda. Iba a decir, no está tan mal. Y se parece a una espada que ya existe en el juego. No. De hecho no la tengo. Pero eso último de que reduce el ataque, bueno, el daño en un 50% es como que... jaja.
Dios, ahí te mando la chica de Rey. Yo, ¿en dónde está? Dios, go quitting.
LOL. Algo le pasa a la espada. ¿Qué sucede? ¿Se ha vuelto oscura?
I can sense that his strength is slowly fading away. The blade is becoming more and more difficult for me to wield. He cannot hold out much longer. If he keeps persisting, he will likely break apart at any moment.
But what would that do to Amanome Yuya?
I will be careful with it. He also says he does not have any plans to give up easily. He's still trying to achieve his goal.
Cofres ocultos. Oh, oye, eso está chido. Mis cofres ocultos, ¿dónde están? Cofres ocultos. Cofres ocultos. ¿No? Allá abajo. Cofres ocultos. ¿Hay cofres ocultos? ¿Allá? ¿Para allá? ¿No? ¡Ah! Cofres ocultos. Emboscada. Hola.
Into the wind.
Fall before me.
Adiós.
One with nature. Clouds high. The birds call. Into the wind.
Are you okay? It looked like you were really struggling the entire fight.
Yes. And it looks like he's reached his limit.
The sheen's grown a bit dimmer again. It doesn't look anywhere near as impressive as it did at the start.
Perhaps this time we'll finally have a chance to see his true form.
¿Sí?
True form? What are you talking about? Huh? What the? Is this the same blade as before? It looks like a piece of junk.
Está muy desgastada. Parece que está a punto de romperse.
If you choose to continue in the state you're in, you wouldn't even be able to beat Samurai and Kairagi, much less the almighty Shogun. Maybe you did truly wield power to rival the Shogun's light when first forged. But the long journey from Snezhnaya back to Inazuma has left you battered and broken. It barely needs stating anymore. Your ambition is a flight of fancy.
Que la verdad está frente a su...
I finally figured out why it was that you agreed to my bet. You wanted to reach a state of harmony with me. For perhaps then you would still be able to wield commendable power. But regrettably, we are nothing alike. I will never
Estaría chido que
understand your
metieran más
obstinacy
tipo de
and
armas,
cruelty,
como una
nor can I
guadaña o no
empathize
sé,
with the one
aunque
who made
supongo
you.
la pondrán como una mandoble ya que se usa 2 manos.
Sí, es que generalmente por eso, de hecho, esta que es una katana en teoría, la pusieron como espada, ¿saben? O sea, modelos de armas similares. Las ponen como un modo, un tipo de arma, pues.
The only one who truly understood you had already passed away by the time you were born.
Huh? What's that supposed to mean?
Eso sería mucho pedir para una empresa multimillonaria como mi hobby. La generalizan, sí. A ver, seguir usando la espada.
We can help this time.
Don't worry. I'll use my own blade. It's just more of the same.
Chinga. Esa es tu arma.
Let's get down to bed.
Let me try.
The wind knows me.
One with nature.
And you!
Uy, uy. Ah, chingado, obstáculo.
Perfect distance.
Into the wind. As one with wind and cloud.
Kazuha, usaré la mía se saca el
Usaré la mía se saca el pito.
Your own sword.
You are a true Kaedehara in flesh and in spirit. Though we fought briefly together, you have seen me for who I really am. No one knew anything of my story throughout my travels, nor did I tell it to anyone. You are the first person to know the truth.
¿En serio esa es la...?
That if I could achieve Ishin harmony with you, perhaps there would still be a ray of hope for me.
But in this too you have failed.
Vale.
Indeed. No matter how hard I tried, I could not attain that perfect harmony that your personal blade does with you. Too much time has passed. My physical state is poor, and without proper maintenance, I can only disguise my true appearance behind an outer sheen. Yours is the blade that took on the Muso no Hitotachi. And what a magnificent blade it is. Perhaps I shall never reach that level of glory.
Actually, this is just a generic blade that I picked up during my travels in Liyue.
De hecho.
What?
De hecho.
Forging and maintenance are both important for a blade, but they are not everything. This blade has traveled the land with me for many years, and we have formed a close bond during that time. Plus, in the moment that I most needed it, I received aid from another power. Skill, blade, determination, and desire. All these must be aligned in the practice of Ishin art. There is something else I must tell you. Though your maker may not have been aware, your ability to possess your own consciousness derived from the power of the Tatarigami. Tatarigami is a malevolence from the ancient past. It is the source of your mania and savagery. Though you tried to cooperate with me while I was wielding you, the part of you driven by Tatarigami was constantly trying to seize control of my body.
¿Cómo así? Le
I
dijo.
sensed it, but I
Esquilizo.
couldn't change it. It is an integral part of my consciousness.
I resisted its temptations because I wanted to save Amenoma Yuya. But I do not know whether you yourself have any intention of trying to fight it.
No vale ni para valer
Sense of
ver.
regret for you. Since you embarked on a journey bound for a destination you were destined never to reach. The moment you embarked on this journey,
Ni para valer verga vale verga.
the only person who could have ever unleashed your true potential.
No, ¿cómo era? Hasta para valer verga vale verga.
Your back on his ambition.
Esa frase está bien verga. Valga la redundancia.
Is the true source of your despair.
He gave me everything. My life, my form, my consciousness, and purpose.
Hasta para valer verga vale
Possibly
verga.
deny him his wish. I said to him, "Do not worry. From here on, I shall forge your legacy." How How could I go back on my word?
Aww.
I believe our bet is now settled. I have nothing further to say.
Where are you going, Kazuha?
He now has neither the ability nor the motivation to cause further harm. Let's give him some time to reflect on things.
Ya, así nomás. Cofres. ¿Cofres? ¿Cofres? ¿Qué haces con eso, Jutao? ¿Cofres? ¿Cofres? ¿Nada? ¿Por acá? ¿Cofres? ¿Nada?
Historia del juego. Inazuma ZZZZZZZ.
Espada de Genshin, a ver. Interesante. ASMR.
When I touched the hilt for the first time, it's as if I was transported to a strange dimension. It was somewhere I've never been. A bladesmith lay quietly on the bed, his frail face barely visible under the moonlight. His breaths were weak, and his life near its end. A newly forged blade lay by his side, listening attentively to his final words.
Wow. That was the Blade's memory, wasn't it?
Indeed. While in exile in Snezhnaya, the
La neta,
bladesmith
la mejor
eventually
misión
learned the
principal
truth
que
behind
jugué
everything
fue
that had
cuando te dan
happened.
3 poderes con el
The
prota,
Ishin
o
art
4
had been
creo
dealt
que
a
eran.
devastating blow by the desertion of its best smiths. He spent the rest of his life in the forge, not to vent his frustration and hatred, but to atone for his actions.
No recuerdo yo tampoco cuál era, pero sí, o sea, sí recuerdo el momento, pero no recuerdo en qué misión era.
Return to his homeland. His sole wish was to one day return his single, proudest creation back to the land of his birth. So he instructed this sentient blade
Creo
to
que
find
la
a way
de...
back to Inazuma, no matter how
¡A su pinche madre!
or how hard the journey.
Quinto Mi lleva 1 año o más suscrito.
But he never wished to rival the gods.
Cuando tienes
All
que
he
proteger
wanted
la
to show
cámara de
was that they
Jade.
once shone brilliant.
Exacto, sí, sí, sí. La de... Estaba recordando el nombre. Child, Tartaglia o Novile. Bueno, es que tiene 3 nombres ese culero. Ese mero, sí. Cuando tienes el poder Anemo y el poder Gio en el mismo personaje. Sí, me acuerdo. Gracias, Quinto. Mira, ahora sí ya tienes las notificaciones personalizadas por la antigüedad. O sea, más es ahora la antigüedad que por el propio continuidad. Espera. ¿Qué dije? ¿Qué dije? Básicamente, ya ahora se acumulan. No es que tenga que ser obligatoriamente continuo. Es ahora acumulado. Cuando tienes que poder proteger la cámara de... Bueno, sí, exacto. Sí me acuerdo y... Sí. Incluso ahí estuvo una de las batallas, las músicas de batalla que más me encantó, que fue la de Ocial.
Que te va a dar unas manadas, dice.
Sí. A ver.
So that's the true story.
Ya estuvo bien, verga.
But after that, the blacksmith's intentions were worked by the Tatarigami, slowly turning his proud creation into the cursed blade of today.
La misión salió en la 1.1,
I believe the bladesmith might never have known that the power he worked
O sea,
with
llevamos
was
para
that
2
of the
años de esa
Tatarigami.
misión.
The hatred within that power is what sent the blade down its ill-fated path. This blade has committed unforgivable atrocities, but only because it lost its original master. No one was there to correct its errors when it was losing its way.
Shame it's too late now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is too late. time would not wait or stop because of his determination. While the world moved on, his ambition remained stubbornly stuck at that fleeting moment at the dawn of his journey. He seems to have calmed down, though. Let's go and check in.
A ver, ¿qué me tiene que decir la hinchispada? Dale, no me puedo quitar vida.
When I look back at the past, I can remember the day of my forging like it was just
Espero y la
yesterday.
historia del país dentro sea mejor que Inazuma, porque la neta Inazuma, Shima, en Kanomilla la sentí muy flojas.
For giving me the gift of consciousness. But darkness and slaughter numb the mind.
La del evento de la cima estuvo chida.
Between gratitude and grudge. Not only did I fail to fulfill his ambition, I also defiled it.
Ching.
You are finally seeing reality clearly.
Since we agreed to the terms of the bet, I will honor the agreement and release Ame no Mayuya. But I still cannot bring myself to forsake his ambition. It is the entire purpose for my existence. So, may I ask you to help me fulfill the ambitions of myself and my creator?
Hey! Now you're adding yours into the mix, too? Jeez, don't push your luck, mister.
It has to be done in this order. At least hear what I have to say. And if you don't agree, I will still release Ame no Mayuya as promised. My physical form, as well as the knowledge I possess, should still be of some value to you.
His attitude has grown a lot milder. What do you think, Kazuha? Should we give him a chance?
Let's hear it.
¿Qué tiene que decir?
Thank you all. When I was first forged, my maker was already terminally ill. He told me that he had wanted me to have the grandest opening battle. Alas, after that, he never rose from his sickbed again. Nor have I ever had the chance to prove myself in battle since. My fights were devoid of any noble meaning. They were merely the next step in my never-ending journey. The next in a long line of transgressions. You are a fine warrior. I would like to request your hand in battle and experience a true duel between samurai.
Oh? And who would be the opponent?
I will release Ame no Mayuya and restore his consciousness. Perhaps after that, you can convince him to commit to a fight with you. You must have plenty of reasons to both hate me and desire a good fight.
Understood. Then let's start by waking him up and seeing if he has the stamina and will to fight.
Yuya al fin se despierta y le explicaron de lo sucedido.
He used my body to inflict harm on others. I utterly despise him and his actions. But since he stayed true to your agreement by releasing me,
Yo
he
solo
must still
pido
have
una
some
loli
remaining
kitsune toyo
semblance of
verso
honor.
PLS.
If a duel can help to set this state of affairs in order, I am willing to put myself forward. I do not wish to be a mere victim in this story.
Pues, según habrá Kusanali y Dori, que son lolis. Dori es un mandoble que es más badass que cualquier otra cosa. Se parece bastante a Diona, la verdad, pero no lleva cola. No es gato, ni ningún otro animal. Y Dori es... Che Dios infante, güey. Kusanoli. Kusanali. La neta, Kusanoli.
There's no need to worry. We'll vouch for your innocence to the Tenryo Commission.
Thanks for your help. Who knows how this would have ended without your intervention.
All right, then let's move on. More Ronin could appear at any moment. We can't stay here. In any case, for a final duel, I think we should aim for a greater sense of ceremony.
¿Solemne? ¿Cómo?
Yo no he visto cómo es el arconte dentro, o sea, no he visto su aspecto.
Ya, espéralo a la siguiente. A la siguiente versión. O sea. Te digo la verdad, no me llama muchísimo la atención, pero solamente he visto que es Loli. Y su aspecto no me gusta tanto, que digamos. Pero bueno, es lo que hay. Así que sí te recomendaría que para guardarte la sorpresa o la decepción, cualquiera de las dos, te esperes a que salga el personaje en la 3.2. O sea, en 4 meses. 5. Eso fue algo más relajado.
Yep, we still can't let our guard down, even now. Paimon has a sneaking suspicion that Blade hasn't told us everything. Still, even if he's way past the point of redemption, it's hard not to feel a
Pasa back,
teensy bit
una
sorry
loli es
for
una loli.
him. Are you ready?
Luego te digo.
Ready? Okay. All right then. Successor of Ishin art, Kaedahara Kazuha.
Successor of Amenoma art, Amenome Yuya.
Honored to cross blades with you.
It is my honor also.
One with nature.
Wow. Está cada vez en la mierda. ¿Qué? Y sigue siendo los mismos stats. Adiós.
Into the wind. The wind knows me.
Adiós.
Into the wind. Clouds high. The birds call. The wind knows me. One with nature. The wind knows me.
Oh shit. Puta.
Thank you for the experience. Although he appears battered and broken, in your hands it seems he's regained a glimmer of brilliance. His sense of savage cruelty has completely faded away. But that...
You also fought well. I'm sure he relished the experience. There are a few things that I shall leave him to tell you himself.
I must apologize to you for all that has transpired.
You need not seek my forgiveness. Nor do I have the right to forgive you on your victim's behalf. It is too late for all of that.
I do not wish for forgiveness. I only hope that you will see my transgressions as mine alone, and not let them stain the legacy of Ishin art. I strayed far from the straight and narrow path, but the Ishin art still has a worthy successor in Kaedahara Kazuha. I beseech you, please understand this.
Yes. I too trust Mr. Kaedahara to do the right thing.
Thank you, successor of Amenoma art.
This blade has also told me that he has another wish. He would like to visit the Amenoma.
Oh.
Maybe we can go back there together.
What does he want to go there for?
I'm not sure, but I think that all this is about to come to an end.
Rompiendo la cuarta pared. ¿Cómo no? Cangrejito. No, no. Tum, 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 tum. Ven. Porque siempre pasa lo mismo.
It's Yuya! You have returned!
I am sorry to have troubled you. It's all thanks to them that I was able to return safely.
Le explican a Menoma Togo todo lo sucedido.
Prized Ishin blade, turned weapon that controls the human mind. Considering their forging philosophy, this was indeed within the realm of possibility. This is a great pity. But I have some good news as well. Ryuji, from the Bonton Sango Detective Agency, tells me that they've found the
Sí lo han encontrado. Vaya, vaya.
Is he okay?
Yes. Badly wounded, but he will live.
Oh.
And now that Yuya is back, it seems like the final ending to this story is a happy one after all.
I think I know what you want to do.
What's wrong, Kazuha? Is the blade whispering in your ear again?
Yes.
Susurrando.
He said he wants to take control of me for a brief moment.
What? No way! Hasn't it learned its lesson?
XD.
He tells me that he's thought of another way to fulfill his maker's wish. And he assures me that he won't use my body for anything nefarious. I have decided to let him do it.
Guess there's nothing we can say to change your mind, huh?
Confío en tu criterio.
Thank you. I will explain my reasons later. Okay. I am ready. Let us begin. Please, stay true to your promise.
A ver. Cinemática.
My power is almost spent. Without him, my eventual demise is inevitable. But if I abandon the future to give everything I have in this moment, my physical form can be forged anew.
Everything? You mean...
Yes. The cost is my entire consciousness. You were right. There's nothing that I can accomplish now. But there's still a chance for Ishin art. Once remade, I will be a valuable resource for your studies. Ishin lives on, and its finest hour is yet to come. Even if I am not the one to prove its might to the Shogun, as long as it is an Ishin blade, crafted by Kaedehara hands, it will still fulfill his final wish. Thank you, son of the Kaedehara clan. Over the years, my real name has been forgotten by all. I'm ashamed to utter it, yet it remains strong in my mind. Kagotsurube Ishin. This name is now yours to keep.
Rest in peace.
Al salir de la herrería Menoma, Kazuha te revela las últimas palabras de la espada.
That's why he said it had to be done in that order. His consciousness will disappear forever after fulfilling the bladesmith's wish.
Kagotsurube Ishin. It was the first time I ever heard his name. It seems like deep down he disapproved of his own actions, and thus chose to bury this name deep within his heart. Only in the final moments, before his consciousness faded, was he willing to entrust it to another.
Seems like he really, really wanted to fulfill his maker's wish.
The same fervent ambition that gave him the motivation to keep going forward also fueled the stubborn determination that blinded him to the path ahead. Speaking for myself, I'd rather see him recognize and atone for his mistakes than see him punished for them.
Los restos de los arcontes derrotados no se deben tomar a la ligera. ¿Qué? Pero es demasiado claro.
I understand. Perhaps this is a flaw in my personality. I've always been captivated by grand aspirations. Hearing his wish to rival the divine light touched something inside of me. just as the sight of those who fought to repeal the Vision Hunt decree did. Your quest to face the gods and trace your sibling inspires me in the same way. After everything I've seen, perhaps these pursuits fascinate me a little more than they should.
Oh, Kazuha.
I will continue to support you from this point on. Know that you will have my assistance whenever you need it.
Te lo agradezco.
Wait, shouldn't we also go update Kujo Kamaji?
Kujo Kamaji.
You're right.
Ah, Simón.
We need to tell him about the findings of our investigation. And it's also time to give him a response to the offer he made me.
Antes de ir a hacer zoom, voy por acá. Wow, ya se me se extendió esto, ¿no? Oh shit, me caigo. Hola.
You've returned. I hear that the issue has been resolved. Though this was a treacherous investigation indeed, we're most fortunate that no lives were lost. The Tenryou Commission has already attended to the danger at the warehouse. The investigation into Amanome Yuya should conclude soon. I do not believe he will be charged with any crime.
Wow, you sure kept your ear to the ground.
Then we needn't recount all the details again. Now, as to your earlier offer, I wish to give you my answer. Please take a look at this blade.
What's this?
Kagotsurube Ishin, a weapon crafted using a long-lost blade forging art of the Kaidahara clan. By means of a series of fortuitous events, I was able to recover and restore him. I also promised him that I will continue to study and pass on the secrets of Ishin art. And so, it looks like I will likely continue with my journey across the nations, learning more about this blade as I go.
I see. I understand.
The Kaidahara clan has always been a family of bladesmiths, so it is only proper for me to continue on this path. Were I to accept your goodwill, I may find myself embroiled in conflicts between the shogunate and Sangonomiya. That would not suit me.
You misunderstand. That was most certainly not our intent.
I am aware, but I still desire to continue walking my own path.
Very well, I can understand. Then let's pretend this offer was never raised. However, if you should ever change your mind or find yourself in need of the Shogunate's assistance, please do not hesitate to inform me.
Great. Thank you for your generosity.
Where will you travel to next, Kazuha?
I'll probably take to the seas with Captain Beto again for now. As for my next destination, let's see where the wind takes me.
Vaya, vaya. Y esta espada, ¿cómo la subo? Me da ataque porcentual. ¿Será posible que la ocupe aquí? Ah, mira, ya no está. What? ¿Qué? ¿Qué? ¿Por qué hacen esto? Oye, ¿cómo que no tiene para refinar? O sea, no manches. ¿Qué? La espada ya es suficientemente buena con lo que yo tiene. Al golpear a un enemigo con una tecnología cargada de señales se crea una ráfaga de viento cortante que inflige un equivalente al 180% del ataque y aumenta un 15% del ataque por durante. ¿Qué? Aumenta en un 15% el ataque durante 8 segundos. Este efecto solo se puede activar una vez cada 8 segundos.
Tal vez porque es una espada única. ¿No es como las otras?
Pues se parece bastante a la espada de Ayaka. O sea, no esta, sino la que tiene en su banner. Se parece bastante, solamente que de otro color. Por lo que... Vamos a ver una cosa. Fortalecer. ¿Qué materiales necesito? Uy, no mames. Uy, no mames. Bueno. Eventualmente la subiré. Por el momento voy a seguir con Kiki y esta otra espada. Que de hecho, o sea, sí le sirve a Kiki ahorita que lo vengo pensando. Déjenme ir a investigar una pequeña cosa. ¿Cómo se llama la pinche espada? Kagotsurube Ishi. Kagotsurube Ishi. A ver. No me tardo. Déjenme un momento. Ya les investigo. Ya les digo. ¿Qué demonios con esta pinche espada? ¿Dónde está la...? Aquí está. A ver, es 4 estrellas, ¿verdad? Sí, es 4 estrellas. Aquí está. Ah, esta no es, espérate. Es la otra. ¿Qué? Ah, ya. Eso sí. Según esto, dice que el ataque base de esta espada es al nivel máximo de 510 con un ataque porcentual de 41.3. Igual que la flauta. A diferencia de que la flauta crean armónicos. Esta de aquí crean armónicos que inflige daño, el daño de ataque del ataque total de Kiki. O creo. En su lugar podría estar bien esta espada porque no es que cree armónicos, que esos armónicos inflijan daño equivalente al ataque, sino más bien aumenta el ataque en un 15%. Eso está bien para que Kiki cure en determinado momento, al momento de golpear a un enemigo con un ataque normal cargado descendiente. Y aumenta el ataque en un 15%. Eso significa que incrementará la vida de Kiki. Digo, la curación de Kiki. Interesante. ¿No lo creen? Es interesante. ¿O what? La flauta la tengo puesta con la viajera. En caso de... Pero esta espada igual y si sirve, o sea, no digo que no esté mal.
Que me lo preguntó. ¿El cuerpo de Kiki se está descomponiendo? Por decirse así, ya que tiene vendas, porque hasta cierto punto no deja de ser un cuerpo moribundo, aunque no sé hasta qué punto esto sea cierto ya que Songli está adherido a un cuerpo muerto también, de su mejor amigo para ser exactos.
No es Songli, bueno, sí, es Venti. Venti es un cadáver que fue poseído por un espíritu. Songli creo que no. Songli creó su propio cuerpo. Kiki en todo caso es... Tiene...
Songli también.
Songli también. Yo no recuerdo eso. Pero el caso es de con Kiki es que... ella fue asesinada. Los adeptos vieron injusticia en lo que sucedió, así que pusieron magia adeptus sobre ella. Por eso tiene este talismán. Ah, por cierto, no se me está viendo la ida. Por eso tiene este talismán y por eso sus habilidades hablan de magia adeptus. Magia adeptus, magia adeptus. Entonces eso. Pero dejando eso un poquito de lado. Ay, mi objetivo de ponerle las espadas a Kiki, güey. Qué tontería.
No sé hasta qué punto sea cierto, ya que unos amigos apegados al lore me contaron, pero vuelvo a decir, no sé hasta qué punto sea verdad.
Yo digo que no, yo digo que Venti sí es el cuerpo del espíritu. O, ¿cómo les digo? ¿Cómo les cuento esto? El espíritu poseyó a su amigo. O sea, Venti como lo conocemos. Eso es un cuerpo moribundo que fue poseído por un espíritu. Viola. Oh, me arruina la diversión, ustedes no.
Stabilize. This is order.
X. Fuera. ¿Ven hasta dónde es esta tontería? Esta de seguirle a este globo. Es hasta allá, güey. Es lejísimo.
Rain outlines your...
Ah, pues. Vaya para allá. Vaya para allá.
Picked the wrong test subject.
No, my sword.
Chingas. Oye, es neta, todo esto tienes que recorrer hasta allá la otra. Güey, esto sí debe de ser nerfeado, güey. Es demasiado tiempo para una diaria. O sea, yo mis diarias las hago en 4 minutos. Y esto ya se consume todo lo que me consumo en una normalmente, en diarias. Che, misión larguísima, güey. What? ¿Qué haces persiguiéndome tú? Vale.
Por eso prefiero las diarias de Mondstadt.
No, luego las de Inazuma son rapiditas. Pero bueno, es que esta también se mamó, güey. Esta de aquí sí se mamó. Ah. Ya. Por aquí nada. Por aquí nada. Aquí hay una. Vamos a ver. Hay una y en el mar. O sea, ¿what? Vamos a tener que buscar el barquito. El rompebolas. Digo, el rompeolas. A ver. Según mi antecesor, Vladka95 dice que aquí hay artefactos. Yay. También me pegué yo, qué pendejo. Muajaja. Vámonos a reclamar esa cosa. La Pussy Destroyer 59, ¿qué te pasa? Bueno. Es la hora.
Add astro. Thank you for
Cate.
Add astro.
Todavía le falta una hora. ¡Chin! Siempre me pasa lo mismo. ¿Qué chin? Vaya. Monster. Es la hora de... Esperen. ¡No! ¿Cómo que? Ya no refino ni madres. Yo me voy a la ver. Completo contra encargos. Esta chingadera también. Y... Tenía que recoger algo más, ¿no? ¿Verdad? Eso todavía no lo voy a hacer. Eso que le den por... Entonces... Con respecto a... Al juego no tengo que hacer nada más, ¿no? El día de mañana sí me toca hacer... Chingada madre. El abismo. Quedan 8 horas, ¿sí? Mañana toca abismo. Actualización de abismo, probablemente, potencialmente, así que... Uy. Tengo miedo de lo que venga en la 2.8 en el abismo. Dicen que está jodido. Dicen nomás. Y he visto por ahí que hay enemigos que están jodidos, jodiditos. Que están castrocitos. Y todos los hitos que puedas imaginar. Disco número 3, Combat Bennett, no sé qué chingados. Mira, violín. Vámonos por acá por un momento. Denme un toque mientras checo ciertas cosas en el Twitch. Oye, y... Kevin... Ah, pendejo. Dijo que iba a hacer stream, pero en la tarde. Soy un reverendo idiota. Y nunca hizo stream, ¿verdad? Déjame ver. Ajá, nunca hizo stream. Vámonos a la verga. Yo los voy a dejar con el quinto, amiguitos. Ahí pásenle el saludito. Yo me voy a ir a comer. Tengo hambre. Si me lo preguntan... llevo desde la tarde... Desde como de la 1 de la tarde que les dije, ¿no? Que me senté en el PC, enfrente del PC a meterle a las escenas, ¿saben? A las donaciones. No, a las donaciones, no. A las subs. Todo lo que le metí. Y pues ya, han quedado chidas las subs. Me gusta la sub, la de 4 meses, la verdad. Es la que más aprecio. En fin, Raid Quinto Mic. Vamos a dejarlos con el buen Quinto. Entonces, probablemente nos estemos viendo el día de mañana con el abismo, el coso, el de... sí, el abismo actualizado. Así que los estoy esperando el día de mañana como por eso de la tardezona, a las 3 de la tarde más o menos. E intentaré, porque luego no cumplo mi horario. Ahí se ven, amiguitos. Hasta otra. Bye bye.